Kia ora koutou, and thanks for joining us for this event. Before we kick off, I'm going to pass to Wāti from the Kindness Institute to open with the karakia.
Ngā mihi Chris. Mānawa mai a te rangi runga nei, mānawa mai a te papairaro nei, mānawa mai ngā makuru ki runga ki nei taura, ki runga ki nei tauira. Kaupare atu ngā hau ki no te wā, whānau te au kawa ki waho. Kia tau te ai o nuku, kia tau te ai o rangi, whānau te aureka ki roto. Whiti ai te ora, whiti ai te ora. Kaia ki runga, kaia ki raro. Nau mai ngā hua o te rā, uhia mai rā te hao te ora. Whakamaua kia tīna, tīna. Rie tai ki.
Kia ora. And just want to recognise yourself as well and the role that you play at the Kindness Institute. Wāti went through the youth mindfulness program at 16, became tuakana, mentoring other youth, and is now teaching community mindfulness and mental health classes for the Kindness Institute at 19 years old. Wāti studies Māori and Indigenous Studies and kaupapa Māori psychology at the University of Waikato, and is passionate about Māori too and mindfulness. And I just wanted to thank you for opening us today. Kia ora. Ko Chris Taylor toku ingoa. My name is Chris Taylor and I work for the Mental Health Foundation, and I have the privilege of leading our fundraising team, and I'm going to be facilitating this event today. I'm really excited about today's event, and this is a really great opportunity to hear more from the people behind the Mindfulness Month. Today we've got Grant Ricks, Director, Mindfulness Training and Development at Pawsbury Smile, and Pawsbury Smile produced an amazing list of mindfulness activities and supporting the event. We've got Stephen McCarthy, who's the founder of the Month Done books, and who we can all thank for such amazing journeys which has supported everyone's journey across the event. We've got Sean Robinson, who's the CEO of the Mental Health Foundation, and Olivia Stapleton, Policy and Advocacy Manager for the Mental Health Foundation, who will talk to the impact of the fundraising that we've all done off the back of the Mindfulness Month. Unfortunately, Christina Cavett is the founder of the Kindness Institute, who I'm sure we would all have felt that like we got to know a whole lot better and heard from each day from the Mindfulness Month episodes, is unwell, so won't be joining us, but just wanted to wish her speedy recovery. I think she might be watching, so massive thanks to Christina and the Kindness Institute for all of the mahi which supported the Mindfulness Month this year. So the Mindfulness Month was a concept that was dreamt up early this year, and the priority was to create a fundraising event that contributed to the essential policy and advocacy work of the Mental Health Foundation, whilst also supporting people with their own mental health and well-being. And I think everyone that was involved really nailed that brief. I think from a personal point of view, what I've loved about this event is that the partnerships that we've created across this sector. And I just wanted to kind of take the time now to say a massive thank you to everyone involved. It's been incredible to work with the Kindness Institute, Pawsbury Smile, and Stephen McCarthy to bring this event to life. We've benefited from the broad range of skills and experience that these partnerships have brought, and I think we've learned a lot from each other as well. And it's been a really enjoyable process. I also wanted to say a massive thank you to Foundspace, our main sponsor of the event. They supported us early on, and they've provided us with the amazing prize giveaway of the sauna, which I'm sure we're all excited to find out who's won. And that prize will be drawn at the end of this event today. Also wanted to say a massive thanks to Bunnings, to Jockey, Pure Pods, Les Mills, Dilma, and Grandid Weighted Blankets for the prize giveaways across the Mindfulness Month event. We've been really humbled, I think, by the positive feedback from participants, and also really inspired by people's personal stories and their journeys through the month, and of course, kind of how creative people have been with the Month's Done journals. It's been amazing to see that across social media. And considering this is our first Mindfulness Month, we've really been blown away by the response. We've had 3,165 people across Aotearoa register for this event, and have raised so far $95,000, and those donations are still coming through, which is just incredible. And it's just really important to take a moment to celebrate that and to reflect on a really successful event. We can't thank everyone who signed up, took part, spread the word, and raised money as part of this event enough. And we're really, really grateful for everyone's engagement. I'm now going to pass over to Grant Ricks, Director of Pause Breathe Smile, and who's going to take us through a short meditation and let us know a little bit more about Pause Breathe Smile's program. Over to you, Grant.
Well, kia ora, Chris. Thanks for that. Kia ora to everyone tuning in. Just a massive shout out to Christina Cavett before I begin. As Chris mentioned, you've all got to know her very well. She's been really driving Mindfulness Month. Unfortunately, a bit too unwell today to be able to do this, so asked me to step in. And yeah, but really just wanted to tautoko everything she has been doing for this. So I'm going to really just riff a little here on the Mental Health Awareness Week theme, which is reconnect. So we'll do a little mindfulness practice around that. Then after that, I'll speak a little about Pause, Breathe, Smile for about 5 minutes. So yeah, I think the reconnect theme is really fantastic when we think about mindfulness and consider that, because I've always thought of mindfulness as a relational practice, and one of the simplest ways I think to think about mindfulness is it's the act of really stepping fully into our lives in each present moment, mentally as well as physically. Physically we're always here. Mentally we know we're not always where the body is. We can be off in many different places. So it's about, aligning and bringing balance there and really turning up for life. And when we turn up for our lives fully, what we find is nothing but relationships at every level of being. So it's a perfect practice to really reconnect inwardly with our own thoughts and feelings and sensations in the body, and to learn to relate in increasingly healthy ways to that rich inner world that we all possess. And then, when we really step into our lives fully, we're more present for others in our lives, so we can reconnect with them in ever deeper ways, and in ways where they feel heard and they can feel our presence. And then also reconnecting with the natural world, remembering that we are a part of a living planet. We're a participant in a living planet. And I think that's something that really moves me personally with my own mindfulness practice, is that recognition that we're all embedded and sharing these same resources of this living planet. So that's where I'm going to go with this little guided practice here today for a few minutes, maybe 10 minutes or so, just really reflecting on that connection inwardly and then outwardly with the living planet. So what I'm going to ask you or invite you to do now is to take up a posture, a physical posture that feels both relaxed and alert. Excuse me, bit of a croaky voice. Relaxed and alert, these two kind of broad dimensions of good mindfulness practice that we're looking to bring together. And we can use the physical posture to support that to the best of our abilities. So if you're able to sit with a straight back is straight but not tense, that will really help promote that sense of mental alertness. And then a nice relaxed soft belly will help promote feelings of openness. So if it's within your abilities to sit with a straight back, soft belly, that's what I suggest. But it's, go with what is comfortable for you, and just keep in mind what feels relaxed and alert to me, what's most conducive for that. So taking a moment to take up that posture. And if your feet are against the floor, just feeling that connection with the ground below you. And we're going to take a few clearing breaths. So maybe 3 or 4 deep breaths. And see if you can make your out breath about twice as long as your in breath, just for about 3 or 4 breaths. So we're breathing in nice and deep, and then we're breathing out nice and long throughout the whole body. And then just allowing your breath to settle into its own natural rhythm. So we're not controlling the breathing in any way, but we are going to use it as an anchor point for our attention, a place that we can always return to when we feel like our mind is wandering and we're getting caught up in the to-do lists and the other mind movies that go on. So just being aware of each in-breath and each out-breath. And just taking a few moments to fully arrive. Viewing the breath as an invitation to arrive more fully in the body in this moment. Noticing whenever your attention gets hijacked, pulled away by thoughts, and you forget to notice your breathing. And in those moments, maybe you can just use the cue word wandering, just as a way of labeling what your mind is up to. So you might silently say wandering, and then bring all of your noticing back to the breathing. And as we breathe mindfully in and out, we can recognize how the breath connects us inwardly. Our breath, together with our attention, wakes us up to the life of the body. Noticing shifting, changing sensations throughout the body. Perhaps noticing areas of tension, areas of relaxation. And seeing if we can just connect with those experiences with a kind, friendly attitude. Accepting the tension, accepting the relaxation. And just breathing with it. With each breath, noticing and acknowledging the emotional flavor of this moment, whatever that is for you. Whatever is happening in your experience, just seeing if you can greet it with kindness, with interest. And then remembering that this breath, noticing the breathing, isn't just some dry mechanical exercise that mindfulness practitioners do. But remembering that it is a direct link to a living planet. That every breath is a relationship with the rainforests, boreal forests, with grasslands, with oceanic algal blooms, maybe even with your house plants and the trees in the garden outside. Maybe you can notice the air around your body, cool or warm against your skin. Just recognizing how we're immersed in this ocean of breathable air. So with each in-breath, just breathing in a sense of support, knowing that your life is supported by a living, breathing planet. And as you breathe out, just having a sense of gratitude for this relationship, this fundamental engagement with life. Breathing in, acknowledging the full richness of here. And breathing out, appreciating the ever-present immediacy of now. reconnecting inwardly and reconnecting with a living, breathing planet. So now just taking 3 more mindful breaths in and out. And after the third out breath, just letting go of any effort of trying to notice the breathing or trying to stop the mind from wandering. And in your own time, just opening your eyes and taking a moment to acknowledge the connection through your 5 senses. Noticing what the quality of seeing is like in this moment, and the quality of hearing and sense of touch and so forth. Great. Okay. Thank you for engaging in that, those of you who stuck around. And I hope that was valuable. Yeah, so I think I just carry on now with a little bit about Pause, Breathe, Smile for a few minutes, and then I'll pass it back to Chris. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Pause, Breathe, Smile, I hope that you've been engaging with the activities that were produced for Mindfulness Month. Pause, Breathe, Smile itself is a program for schools, for primary and intermediate schools, which began its life at the Mental Health Foundation. So I worked there for a number of years, and that's where we got the program started and teamed up with researchers to research its effects. And thankfully, we saw that those effects for children were really beneficial in terms of learning basic mindfulness skills to be able to regulate the attention, much like what you will have been doing during Mindfulness Month, and then learning how to apply those mindfulness skills to different areas of life that are going to contribute to overall flourishing. So learning how to use mindfulness to better regulate emotions, to really notice, help our kids to notice when they're in their red zone of fight-flight response, and to be able to use tools like mindful breathing and body scan techniques and so on to bring themselves out of their red zone and back into their green zone, that place where the mind and body is balanced, where we feel calm and clear and so forth. But part of that process too is helping them to understand that whatever we're feeling, it's totally okay to feel that way. Every emotion is valid. Every emotion has a reason for being, and every emotion has learning that we can take from it. So it's okay to feel this way when we're angry, for instance, but it's not okay to act it out. It's not okay to go and hit someone. That's how we're reacting to that inner domain. So helping them to kind of work out that difference and be able to self-regulate more easily and effectively. And so we're seeing great research results showing greater self-regulation among kids when they go through the Pause, Breathe, Smile program, greater kindness and positivity in relationships with others, and things like that. So the program is now governed by the Pause, Breathe, Smile Trust, which is where I work. We have a strong relationship with the Mental Health Foundation, and also with our funding partners, Southern Cross, who came on board, and thanks to their generosity and funding support, the program is free for every primary and intermediate school in New Zealand who wants it. We've also been piloting a version of the program in a kura Māori, fully in te reo Māori, led by Māori educators for tamariki Māori, and it's great to see the way that the program is evolving in full immersion Māori settings. So I guess just to end off, I mean, you can look at our website, pawsburysmile.nz, for more information. But to close off my little piece about this, I encourage you, if you have children or grandchildren in primary or intermediate schools in New Zealand, and you like the sound of Pawsbury Smile, go have a chat with the principal or with your child's teacher, and let's see if we can get this happening throughout every school in the country. And yeah, just a big thank you to the Mental Health Foundation and to the Kindness Institute for all the work with Mindfulness Month, for having us involved. It's been really great, and I will hand back to you now, Chris.
Kia ora. Thanks, Grant. Wow, I'm still feeling very relaxed. It was very surreal to open my eyes after that meditation and realize I was still on the call or on the event. But yeah, that was great. And I think I always find meditation and mindfulness a bit like going out for a run. Like, I never regret doing it afterwards, but I can find every excuse kind of beforehand as to why it's not the right time or something. But that was brilliant. So thank you for that, Grant. And I'm sure everyone watching will be grateful for that mindful moment today. I'm now going to pass over to Stephen McCarthy, the founder of the Awesome Month Done books, who everyone will have received, who will tell us a bit more about how the idea came to life. So over to you, Stephen.
Great, kia ora. I'm Stephen McCarthy. And also, Grant, I'm not sure if you engineered it, but there's this beautiful kind of bubbling, watery sound happening. I think it might have been coming from maybe outside your window or something, but unless it was, yeah, I heard that. It was amazing. It made it sound even better. Yeah, so mindfulness for me is quite a tricky thing. I find I have quite a busy brain, which I think lots of people do. And to even sit still for, 2 or 3 minutes is a really tricky thing for me to do. So having these physical tools, I think is really important. So I run a studio down here in Christchurch. We do lots of work in the wellbeing and mental health space. Started off with a client called All Right. Basically after the earthquakes, lots of kind of tools and campaigns and ideas we did down here to help people in that. And I think what we've learned from that is that there's so much in the digital space, which is really important, but physical tools and actually things you can touch and hold cut through. So that's, I think, the stuff that we kind of like designing. And just a bit of an origin story of how the whole idea of Month Done came about. I guess it started way back. We created a wee thing called Habit Sticks in Christchurch, which was to help people kind of reinforce good habits and stop bad habits. Like you want to stop biting your fingernails or texting in the car, things like that. These things, they're small little steps that you kind of have to make. And trying to do them every day, just a little step every day, kind of gets you to that point. So this little tool at the start, it was basically in the way that I guess I think about things, it's looking at other things in life. I was trying to lose some weight. I was using a Fitbit. That was working. So I thought, how can we make something that's basically a free Fitbit? So it's literally a little stick, a little piece of wood that you put your habit on that you wanted to change. And every day you tick that off daily. So it's just a really small daily thing that you did. And scientifically, at the end of sort of 28 days, then you can help start to form a new habit. So then I sort of applied that thing. Another thing, you're probably hearing a bit about my life now. So I was wanting to cut back on the drinking. So I thought, how can I do this? I tried lots of different things. I thought, okay, I want to try just stopping for a month. So that was a simple plan. I thought, I just won't have a drink today. And did that one day. Then the next day, did that. Kept going for a month. Then it was 6 months. Then it was a year. And so far, I haven't had a drink in 6 years. So I never intended to be like that. And that's quite a full-on thing to do. But just that little step. So from there, I thought, let's see if this works as a web book, as a Month Done book. So the idea of the first Month Done sort of book that I did personally was to help people in that, for a personal thing for me, to try to cut back on the drinking. And every page with that had the same thing on. It was a bit of a joke thing, but it does work. It's like you literally open up the page, don't have a drink today. Next page, don't have a drink today. Simple as that. It does work. By the end of the month, you haven't done it. But then talked to the Mental Health Foundation, and with Chris, and knew that Mindfulness Month was coming up, and I thought this has legs to kind of be a much bigger, broader idea. So we talked about adapting the journal into something that's a bit more tangible, with different prompts on every day. That just means that, again, we find it quite hard. I think lots of people do, being busy. So if you just have one page with one prompt, and that you can add your things in, and we thought this could work. And I think it's proven that we've managed to raise quite a bit of money so far, that it does work. And I think that collaboration thing was a huge thing as well. But I think the biggest collaboration with this is actually you, because it's a blank page with some prompts on, and just the beautiful artwork that we saw coming in, and such different kind of stuff. And I think it doesn't matter where you're at. If you're quite artistic, the stuff looks good. If you're you just want to write a few words, it was pretty amazing to see people's heartfelt thoughts come through. So I think that's the biggest aspect of it's just been great seeing different styles. And yeah, and so there's some more left if anyone wants to buy some extra ones. So you can go to monthdone.com, and there's limited books left. But look, from every book sold now, we're still raising money. So every book that's sold, $10 goes back to the work of the Mental Health Foundation. So I'd say get in there quick and get some more, and hopefully we can do it again next year. And yeah, so thank you. Thanks for getting me involved. I'm glad this could be a much bigger thing. Cheers. Back to you, Chris.
Kia ora, thanks, Stephen. Yeah, I mean, awesome concept, and great to hear your story behind it as well. Yeah, a really great addition to the Mindfulness Month event. I think looking at social media over the last kind of 6 weeks, it's been great to see how people have taken those books. And I remember when we were designing them, and they looked very blank. And but yeah, kind of, I think that was the beauty of them, really, that they're so blank that everyone's kind of put their own stamp on them. So yeah, big thanks to for you to contributing to the event.
Awesome.
I'm now going to pass over to Olivia Stapleton, who is the Policy and Advocacy Manager for the Mental Health Foundation, who will talk to the impact of the funds raised from the Mindfulness Month event. Olivia, over to you.
Kia ora, Chris. Tēnā tātou katoa, ko Olivia tuku ingoa. Our policy and advocacy mahi at the Mental Health Foundation directly benefits from the actions of all our donors. So that includes the 3,000 plus people that took part in the Mindfulness Month fundraising. So look, it's just so nice to be here today to express gratitude and also to give back and give you a little bit of an overview of some of the work that our policy and advocacy team does. So essentially, the policy and advocacy arm of the Mental Health Foundation looks to create positive system and service transformation. So that means creating or ensuring that our mental health and addiction services and supports are accessible, they're safe, effective, timely, and culturally safe. And it also means that we advocate for the conditions in our society that influence our mental well-being to be favourable. So that means we advocate for people being safe from domestic abuse and neglect, having meaningful employment and a living wage, freedom from poverty, racism, discrimination, bullying, and having a safe, warm, dry house. They are all things that influence on having mental well-being, having positive mental health, and also reducing the bad outcomes from mental illness. So we do this work through influencing decision makers, so ministers and senior public officials. We influence the creation of new laws and changing laws by making submissions to Parliament. And we talk to government when they're setting policy or strategy to make sure that they get it right. And essentially, we see ourselves as being a bit of a critical friend to the government. So we're there to call them out when they haven't hit the mark, and we're there to support them when they do good things. So to be an independent voice like this, we do have to be sort of at arm's length from the government and not tied to a government contract to do this work. So that's only made possible through the fundraising support. So yeah, kia ora for your support for that. We also choose to be non-partisan. So we don't support any one particular party. We support the government of the day to make a really positive difference to the wellbeing of all New Zealanders. And we're also there to support all MPs, all members of Parliament, to really understand what positive mental health and wellbeing is, to help them understand the needs of the different communities that they serve, and importantly, not to treat mental health as a political football. So I just want to really quickly give an example of some of the work that we're funded to do through your support. So During the Mindfulness Month, we released a general election statement, and I think we might have a link in the chat there. Look, the general election is well over a year away, but already political parties are starting to write the policies that they will be campaigning on for your vote. So we wanted to make this statement to guide parties to develop mental health policies that will make a positive difference. So we present a wero, or a challenge, to all parties, and we're asking them what actions they'll campaign on and implement, which will actually bring about change and improve the mental health and wellbeing of Aotearoa. So to help them, we give 12 actions that we think parties could pick up, that they could implement, that would have a positive effect. And these range from embedding mental wellbeing programs in schools through to having more youth one-stop shops across the motu, to having different ways of supporting people experiencing mental health crisis in our communities that might not involve the police, committing to updating our mental health law that is over 30 years old and has not dated well, and to end solitary confinement or seclusion practices within our inpatient units, because we know that they can cause serious harm and yet they have no therapeutic benefit. So I'd encourage everyone to read that statement, share it, send it to your local MP, and use it yourself as to inform your own thinking when it comes time to vote next year. Thanks again for your support. Like, everything that you do helps us do work like this all year round, and we couldn't do it without you. So ngā mihi nui, kia koutou katoa. Over to you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Olivia. Really, really cool to not just think about the event, but the impact that the event has through fundraising. Some incredible work, and I'm sure that's great for everyone who's listening to hear kind of the impact that they're making through the fundraising that they did across August, and still now donations still seem to be coming in, which is great. Finally, I'm going to pass over to Sean, the Chief Exec of the Mental Health Foundation, to finish us off with a few words.
Kia ora, Chris, and kia ora koutou, everybody. For Sean Robinson Toko Wingawa, I have the privilege of being the Chief Executive of the Mental Health Foundation, and it's great to be among friends here on the screen. Stephen, we've worked with you for a long time on All Right and other activities, and of course Grant, been part of the Mental Health Foundation whānau for a long time. So first up, I just want to say thank you to everybody who participated in Mindfulness Month, and thank you for the money that you've raised. Just flashed up on the screen before, we're up to 94,000 and still rising, and that's just an awesome effort. But I think one of the wonderful things about this initiative was we're able to raise money to really try and bring about change, as Olivia was saying, but we also have done it in a way that brings about change for ourselves, that actually boosts our own mental health and well-being. And it reminded me, to participate in mindfulness more through that month. Mindfulness has been very important to my journey, and I live with bipolar disorder, so arguably at the sharp end of some of these issues, and certainly at earlier stages of my life, my life was chaotic because I was so unwell mentally. And learning mindfulness and the concepts of mindfulness and trying to apply those in my life has been one of the tools that's made a huge difference for me. It's really helped me to be more aware of myself and my relationship to myself, as Grant said, my relationship to others and to the environment, and really trying to be mindful as much as I can all the time. And when I'm not being mindful and I notice I'm not being mindful, realizing that that's being mindful, and that's really cool. I just again, want to say thank you for doing it, and good on you for doing it for yourselves and for us. Yeah, can't reinforce enough how important getting those resources are, so that Olivia and her team, you know, can be the independent critical friend of government. You know, there have been times when government officials have tried to silence us in some of the things that we say about mental health and the changes that need to be made. And luckily they haven't been able to. We've been able to be strong enough and independent enough. And a lot of that is because we have the resources to be able to say, well, I don't care whether you threaten to cut our funding, you know, we're still going to say and do what needs to be said and done. So, you know, it's very, very important that we have that independence to do that. So, yeah, this money is going to be put to really good use. There is so much to be done in the space of transforming mental health, well-being in Aotearoa, New Zealand. You know, everything from addressing the things that make our communities uplifting of well-being, and there are so many things like poverty, impacts of colonisation, racism, housing, family violence, so many issues that actually damage our mental health and well-being, that we need to try and turn around and have a community where what we live in, how we live, the resources we have actually uplifts our mental health. Then there is, you know, so much that we need to do about being able to promote wellness and well-being. You know, our mental health is an asset that we can grow. It's like our physical fitness. We can all work on it, and we work on it better when we encourage each other and do it together. And so, you know, there's so much that needs to be done in the way we approach mental health that is about wellness and about the asset of mental health, not just about waiting till people get sick and then fixing them up with doctors, nurses and pills, important as those are. No, and then we do, you know, still need support for times when we're struggling. It may be someone like me who has bipolar disorder, or it may be, you know, an event's happened in your life, a grief, or a big change like having a new child, or a relationship breakup, or, you know, things that happen in our lives impact our thoughts and feelings, and we all need support to be able to deal with those. We need to have the skills and tools like mindfulness, but also we need support, and that support can be informal in the form of each other and having confidence to support one another, and at times it needs to be formal in terms of services that are made available, and those services need to be the right type of services that are based on the right ideas and that reach us when we need them, in places where we need them, in a way that suits, you know, who I am and who you are and who someone else is, because one size doesn't fit all. So, you know, it really is a big agenda to transform mental health in Aotearoa, New Zealand. And, you know, while we've started down that pathway as a country, you know, there are so many blind alleys that we can go down, and times there are so many barriers to actually making progress. So, yeah, thank you once again for supporting us. Thank you for providing the resources to allow us to make a constructive but assertive contribution to this transformation. And yeah, thank you for just the moral support of participating together in Mindfulness Month. Kia ora.
Kia ora, Sean. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing your story and reminding us why fundraising events like these are really important. Yeah, really cool. So we've come to almost the end of the event today. Christina is going to announce the Found Space Sauna winner, which is really, really exciting. And then he's also going to close us with a karakia. So I'll pass over to you, Christina. Kia ora.
Tēnā rā tātou katoa, kua huitahi mai nei. Ngā kōrero kua whārekitia I mua I a tātou, mua I te aroaro. Arā hoki ngā kōrero kua, kua whakatau hia I roto I tēnei o ngā mahi o tātou. I've just been sent, if I'm being honest, I was having a bit of anxiety. I didn't have the winner's name in my chat box, so I was sitting here thinking, come on, whānau, I know you both got this. Hoi anō, just to make things a little bit more exciting, can I get a silent drum roll in the background, please, whānau? And our winner is, I hope I'm saying this right, e hoa mā. We have Viv Chandra is the winner of our sauna competition. So I'm hoping I said that name right. So congratulations, Viv. Kia koe. We will be in touch. Our whānau at MHFNZ will be in touch with you. Congratulations on winning your sauna competition. E mihi kawana kia koutou katoa. Hoi anō, nā runga iaua āhuatanga katoa. Tuatahi mai, me mihi ka tika ki ngā rangatira o tēnei pai. Kia koe Olivia, kia koe Stephen, Chris, Sean, koutou ko Grant, tēnei te mihi mai oha kia koutou, nā ui whakawātea mai I a koe anō, kia hau mai ki tēnei kaupapa, kia whakapuaki I ngā kōrero o tēnei kaupapa hoki. Anō nei ngā mihi ki ngā tāngata I waihanga I tēnei kaupapa, kia tū ai te kaupapa nei, kia puaki ai ki te nuinga o tātou e noho ana ki Aotearoa. So I want to give a mihi and a massive shout out to those of you who gave your time and your kōrero to this space, so we were able to discuss some really important kaupapa in regards to mindfulness month and mental health and well-being. Hoi anō, māku tēnei wāhanga e whakamoe, māku tēnei wāhanga e whakakapi. I'm going to close off our mindfulness month with a karakia e hoa mā. Nā reira, me karakia tātou. Te whakaetanga tēnei te kaupapa ka ea, tēnei te wānanga ka ea, te mauri o te kaupapa ka whakamoia, te mauri o te wānanga ka whakamoia. Ko ea ki runga, ko a ki raro, haumi e, hui e, tai ki e. Tēnā rā tātou katoa.
Kia ora. Thanks, Christina. And that is us for today. And I just wanted to say a massive thank you before we close again to everyone that took part in Mindfulness Month this year. We've got the Mental Health Awareness Week coming up very, very shortly. And here's to successful Mindfulness Month 2023. Kia ora.